Hello everyone, my name is Victor, and what we're going to do today is we're going to continue our friend's blog. Sorry, what is happening? Okay, so we're going to continue this blog, and so we're not making a blog. We're just trying to help my friend port a blog into something that's free. Okay, so basically we just want to build a free blog, right? We don't want to pay for it. So we're exploring how we could do that. We're using Contentful for this. What's this? Okay, reload the application. So that's my API key there. No worries, I'm gonna change it after the video. So anyway, what are we gonna do? Okay, so the first thing we gotta do is we gotta change this bit of code right here, because this will work only on the server side. What does that mean? Next.js can run your code both on the server side and on client side. So if you're requesting a page directly by entering the URL and then loading the page, then your code will run on the server. But if, let's say, you're navigating between pages, then Next runs it in your browser. So we want to account for both situations. Now, the way the client is set up is it uses environment variables. Obviously, these environment variables should not be number one on the client side, and number two, because they're loaded up only on the server side, so this function call will only work on the server side. It won't actually work on client side. I think we have instances of when that actually happens. So if, let's say I just saved the file, rebuilding. Okay, so it didn't really do anything. Okay, never mind. Point is, this won't work on client side, so we need to make sure that it does. So simplest way to do is we need to check for when it is when we're in the server and when we're in the client. So next passes a context object to get initial props, and you can just check for the presence of the request object. So if this request object exists, then that means the code is being run on the server side. So we're just going to say server only, and that's what we're going to do. Let's call this articles, because that makes so much more sense. Articles, great. Right, but we might want to actually call this in several different spots. So we'll get in very quickly into why. But before that, let's actually extract this bit out into its own, file. First thing we're gonna need is the actual client. Oh no, this is the wrong. Okay, we want to put it into lib. We want the Contentful client, and we want to export a function. So this function, should it be an async? Okay, you know what? So let's assume that it accepts a query. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna const get articles equals that, so that we can add nice documentation to it. Export default and get. Typing is such a difficult job. I want to return get entries content type articles. Great. Query. So besides, so this is basically a filter, right? So this filters out all of our entries and only gives us of type article. Obviously, we might want to add more, filters or whatnot. So we're going to use the query object for that. So very quickly, we can look at the documentation for this. I think, let's just open general and JavaScript. Get started, blah blah blah, modifying REST API, maybe. Okay, so we want the API reference as the case, as the key reference. Yeah, that should be it. There was a, oh wait, no, it's the same thing. Great. So get entries. So this thing itself already takes a query, right? So that's what we're going to be passing as well. You know what? Let's just do this. You know, we're just gonna pass it as is, but we're gonna guarantee that it's gonna return only articles. So how does it work? Example returns that. Okay, so create an object with search parameters. Check the JS SDK tutorial or the REST and the REST API reference. Why the hell doesn't it explain it right here? Oh gosh. Okay, so we're gonna need to go through this to know how to do interesting things. I guess I don't need that. I'm gonna open that and this puts us back to this very same spot. Never mind. All right. So we have this. So we're gonna add some documentation, guys. It's very important to add some documentation, guys. Query. What is the query? Query pass to contentful client dot. What is this? Get entries, right? Gets all articles that match the given query. Let's just call it optional so that people know, So by default, oops. Returns a promise. What does it say here? Returns entities.entry collection. How do I represent that? No, it returns. Let's just call it a promise. And let's say the default all articles. Yeah. Returns articles matching the given query. Yay. This should be any. Yeah, looks good. So we're gonna use this instead over here. How we're gonna do that is by number one changing this and saying get articles. Await get articles. Just like that, our intent is so much more clear. Guys, this is how you should be coding. I'm speaking to the noobs. Anyway, so this works on the server side. What about the client side? So these are server-side secrets, like I said. So these exist only on the client, on the server side. So in such situations, what you should really do is have your own API, and your client application, right? The front end should be calling this API to do the job for it. So in this case, I would be calling a client, my API, to actually get the articles for me and return that. So basically like a proxy, So I'm gonna say articles equals to await fetch API articles, and then that I'm gonna return that. We're definitely duplicating things here, so let's do this. Let's get rid of that. There. So this needs to be named else now. Great. Great. That looks so much better. You know what? I think we can do better. Micro optimizations. Return that. Oh, that looks ugly. Oh yeah, we want to return it like this. So yeah, this is important. So okay, fine. So let's just leave it to that. So now we're running this. So how does this work? So we're calling a path API. So this is running from the client side, right? So this basically comes down to where is it? Yeah, so it would be /API/articles. Another important thing is that you can't just use fetch here. You gotta use a fetch that actually works on the server side. So for that, I use isomorphic fetch. So because it works both client and server side. So now that we have fetch, what can we do? We can fetch articles, but this won't work because we haven't actually defined this API route. So the way we define API routes in Next is by making an API folder inside your pages directory and you know, give it a name. So articles, so that will be this articles right here. So what's it called? What this file is supposed to export is a function, request response. So it takes a request and a response object. The request and the response object, they are these. It's a Next API request and a Next API response. Both of them extend the low-level HTTP incoming message and the server response classes. So I have them open here just for reference. Anyway, the point is, this is how you use this thing. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna import our get articles function as well. Lib get articles. So we're guaranteed that this will be run on the server side. Right. Also, we want to make sure that this is a get request only. So if request dot method is a get request, then we you know what, we don't need a comment for that. Let's just say rest.status 405 we respect only get requests, and then end the request just like that. Otherwise we're gonna get the articles. Do we have to? Yeah, we need to get the articles, await, and then get articles. So the question becomes, how do we pass a query here? We'll get to that later. That's not very important right now. Res status 200 res.json. What is this? So according to JSON, send data JSON in response. This is their official documentation, guys. You know what? I'm just gonna pass articles directly. Alright, great. So we have that. Let's test it. So this is Postman. This is Postman. We're gonna do a localhost 3000. That's where our application is, and articles. So this should give us all the articles if it works. I seem to have an error message. Request failed with 400. Why did request end? That's just where is our application? Here it is. Anyway, here are our articles. This is taking a while. You know what? Let's just restart the dev server. Maybe I needed to do that. I don't really know when I need to restart the dev server when I'm working with Next. So whenever in doubt, I just do it because it's so much more easier to do that. Life should be simple. If you're ever confused, you just do something. So clearly, very clearly, we have a problem over here. An unhandled promise rejection warning. Request failed. Why did the request fail? We do not know. So it could be, the problem could be anywhere. So we know that this returns a promise. could be? Could it be that my environment variables are wrong? No, I don't think so. It was working fine just a while ago. I mean, it was working fine here, right? Right? Could it be? Perhaps it's this bit right here. I'm gonna refresh that. And no, that's not the problem. Maybe it's this bit right here. Is refreshing, and generate priority items of undefined is definitely get articles. So why is this a promise rejection warning? I do not know. Why is it a promise rejection warning, guys? Perhaps it's the query. You know what, let's just remove that and let's see what happens. And still does not work. You know what, let's kill our server again. Let's restart the server again. Gonna drink some water. I've successfully had some water. Takes a while. Okay, so that's not the issue. So something else is. Right, this I wrote articles. It should be article. And success. So you see, guys, JavaScript, guys. I'm gonna blame JavaScript for that. Anyway, so going back here, let's send a GET request, and here it is. So this works, and that's exactly what we want. And if we send anything besides a GET request, it fails with a 4 or 5. Exactly what we want. But gives us a JSON. Never mind. So we have essentially made sure that our articles are loaded correctly, both server side and client side. Now our problem is, well, this bit right here. If you remember, this is a hot mess. So this is the response that we get from the server. You know what, let's just use this. This is the response that we get from our server. So we get items. These are the individual articles, right? Now just look at this thing. An item has fields, right? So this is an article title, an article body. Now the article body has a content, which is an array. And each element can themselves have content, which is also an array. And it's basically recursive, this structure. And this is a problem for us because I don't want to write a recursive function for this. So I did a bit of reading, I did a bit of Googling, and I found that Contentful had the very same problem after they had made Contentful. And then they thought, you know what, we need something to do this recursively. So they made this. So that's exactly what I'm going to use over here. Now, this logic of rendering an article does not make sense over here. It should be its own component. So we're going to do that. We're going to extract that logic out into its own component. I'm going to import React from React, obviously, const article. I'm going to take some props. This is the default export. No, article. So an article will get a props of type. We'll get a title prop. We'll also get a body prop. So this is the title and the body of an article. And what we're going to do is we're going to render it. How are we going to render it? That is, we're going to need that this library that we installed behind the scenes document, and we're going to return a fragment. This is a fragment, in case you didn't know. It's going to be a heading. The heading, why does it do that? Is the title, obviously. We're going to use a class name of this display for, you know, to give it that oomph. And the body goes here. I'm gonna save that. So I've already read a bit of the documentation and I've actually tried it out. So this is what we're gonna do. So we need to use that over here. So so these are the articles. So it's not exactly the article, but what I really want to do is say articles items. Let entries. Yeah, that makes so much more sense. Or should that logic come from there itself? You know what, I think it should. What we're gonna do is go back to get articles, and this is in a sync. We're gonna const entries. We're gonna await return entries dot items. Yes, that makes more sense. So these are the articles. So I don't need to do that. I can just do this. I'm gonna save that. Let's just see what that looks like. And here it is. Articles as an array. So this is so much more nicer. Right. So we want to use our we want to use our article component over here. Components article. And so let's just make an hr and article title will be article first article title, and body is going to be, why do I have this? Right, body will be first article body. Let's save that, let's refresh it. And that didn't work. Why didn't it work? Why didn't it work? Right, we need to extract the fields. That's why I had that. Damn. Fields. First article dot fields. Save that. And ta-da! So this is the whole article minus the pictures. So we're gonna have to figure out how to, you know, put the pictures in there. Well, okay, so that's not a problem. So what are we going to do now? So we want every article to be in its own page, actually. Now, there are two ways to do it. One is to do it programmatically, which is the right way to do it. And the other way to do it is not programmatically, as in you go in and write the code for each page yourself, which is obviously very stupid. And we're not stupid, so we're not going to do that. So just like how we made an API route here, we're gonna just make an articles route here, and inside all we're gonna do is say article id dot js. So this is special. This is a special way to name files in the context of a Next web application. So whenever Next sees that files have square brackets in their name, is gonna use this as a query parameter in the request that you send. So what that basically means is, if I do something like, okay, I'm just gonna show it to you. Import React from what is it? React. We want article as well. Components article const article page. Oops. Export default. What are we gonna do? Export the default article page. Sorry, I just zone out a lot of times. Article page get initial context. All right. Return we want to import page as well. Great. So let's go back here. When we use get initial props, we get a context object, and the context object has these these fields. I mean these properties. So we were using request to check whether something's in the server or not. So we can use query to basically get query parameters, right? So here the square brackets, you can think of it as a query parameter, and the name inside to be the name of the query parameter. Let me say const query ctx.query const article id is query.article id, and we're just gonna give that back to the page. We're gonna make that available to the page, and we're gonna use that to render the title props.article id. I'm gonna save that, and let's go back to our web app. I'm gonna say article/xyz, go to that page, and what we get is a page, and you're gonna notice that the title is basically the same thing. Okay, to make it more clear, let's add an h1 here. Props.article id. Let's run that, and we get xyz. So whatever I type, I'm gonna get exactly that. So this is very, very useful. If this was the actual article ID, we could use that information to actually, go ahead and fetch the article that we want. So that's exactly what we're gonna do here. So before that, we're gonna need a couple things. We're obviously gonna need our isomorphic fetch, because we wanna make sure it works in the client side and server side. We want get articles. This is how we're gonna make the actual request. Const. Need to get rid of that. What is this? Const request ctx.request if request. Again, server only. Let article else that return the article, and over here we're gonna get that article is equal to props fields is equal to article dot fields, title is fields dot title, const body is the fields dot, oh yes, it's supposed to be article body, article title, and we're going to use that information to render our article. Title is title, and actually we don't even need to do that. We can just go title and body. Does that work? Nope. Okay, my bad. Title, body. Great. So we have all of these things in place, but we don't actually have. So this won't actually work. Ta-da! Okay, let's actually go back here. So what we really want to do is we want to say article await async. This is an async function. Await get articles, and we want to pass in this article ID. Otherwise we want to send it as a query to the using fetch. Article is equal to await fetch API. Oops. Articles then res JSON. So I'll have to read up on how do you know what, never mind. So let's just say article ID equals article ID there. And if we get it in our API, where's our API? Here it is. Let's see, how do we use this again? So we have query, alright, const articles, const query is equal to request query, const article ID is equal to query article ID. Great. So we want to be able to pass the article ID here as well. So let's actually first solve the problem of how we're going to do it here. Yeah, that is a good question. How are we going to do it? We need to find out how to use this. Okay, so search parameters, content type, equality. Let's look at equality. You can search for exact matches by using the equality operator. Let's look at an example. So sys.id content. Yeah, I think this is what we want. Sys.id. Is that it? Are not supported for text fields. To find all entries with the ID that. So we just do this, huh? Okay, that will work. So we are going to say here, what are we going to say? Sys.id is article ID. And over here as well, sys.id is article ID. Let's go back to our applicaciones. And article title is undefined, so it did do something, but it's undefined. So hold on, let's go back here. Where is our code? Where is our code, man? Where's the article page, man? Wait, that's just the article component, we don't need that. Package.json, we don't need that. Get articles, we don't need that. Article ID, Let's look at what we're actually getting here. Okay, what? So no, not there. We want it here. Console.log article and article. Let's save that. And our article is gonna read article title of undefined. Okay, I gotta refresh. Oh, it doesn't log it. Why doesn't it log it? Pretty sure it's supposed to. Okay, you know what? Let's comment this and this and this. Let's get rid of this for now. Save that. And right, here it is. Oh no, article has article inside it, and there's nothing in there, mate. Why is there nothing in there? Okay, there's nothing in there. Maybe it's because of, where is that? Maybe it's because of this, you know. Let's just get rid of this and let's see what happens. Nope. Let's refresh. And nope. Okay, so that is not the problem. So what is the problem? Oh wait, there's obviously 0 because this, oh gosh, I'm so stupid. I gotta get this ID. Info, there we go. Let's check that out. And we actually did get something, but why is it an array? I guess that's just how it is. So okay, so what we want is we want to call this entries. Yeah, entries dot article underscore 0. There we go. Okay. So alright, so we can get rid of this and this and this. The title will be title. Let's save that. And come on, man, come on. Can we property 0 of undefined? How is it undefined? Okay, hold on, let's go back. Let's go back to this. Why is it undefined? So okay, there's an article that is an array. I mean, that is what I did, right? This is what I did. Article, that's an array. Does it ever happen to you that if you look at a word for too long, you start to feel like it's spelled wrong? Okay, I mean, I have to make sure now if it's actually spelled right or wrong. Okay, it is spelled right. Oh gosh, it's so creepy when that happens. Anyway, so we are getting undefined here. You know what? Let's just return that and let's see what we get. Okay. Let's uncomment that. Let's remove this. Uncomment these as well. Console log article and article. Save that. So this is empty. Why is it empty? So if I return back entries, what is the meaning of this? How does that make sense? How does that make sense, guys? I do not understand. I do not understand. I really do not. How is this incorrect? How is that empty? Why is that empty? This makes no sense. Am I missing something? It doesn't make any sense. It really does not make any sense. Props. Oh, that's why. Now it makes sense. Nope. Cannot read property 0. How is it undefined? It's not undefined. Pretty sure it's not undefined. Can we property fields of undefined? Hold on. Article. Okay, so that was the array. Entries. This should be entry number 0 then. So entry number, okay, refresh. Now we're getting somewhere, guys. Now we are getting somewhere. And title. So here's our very beautiful article. It's not very pretty, but it works. Alright, so what happens when we give something that does not exist? We get an error message, which is not nice. What we really want to do is redirect to a 404. How do we do that? Let us see. Next.js redirect to 404. No. In order to do that, you have to render the error page in your. Okay, I think there was something over that about that here. Custom error handling, yes. 400 or 500 errors are handled both client and server side by default component error.js. If you wish to override it, define an error.js. Reusing the built-in. If error code, then return error status. Right, so that's what I want to do. So that's what we're gonna do. Import error from next error. So if article is null, if article equals null, if not article, yes, return error. How do we use it? Status code 404. Let's look at it. Refresh. That is so much more nicer, but this is not our 404. Why does it do that? Where did it go? If you want to render the built-in error page, you can use this. If you have created a custom error page, you have to import your own error component from that instead of. Okay, so I need to instead do this. So now this is our 404. Okay, great. So we can correctly handle something that exists and something that doesn't exist. Let's add a nice back button on top. Next.js pop history. How do we do that? So what I want is like a button over here that says back. Let's make it a little nicer. Let's use character map. Let's search for arrows. We want the right arrow. Yes, select it, copy it, and we're gonna paste that there. What the hell? Anyway, let's look at what it looks like. Nice. And and what do we want? We want to use some bootstrap styles with this. Documentation, buttons, content. No, wait, hold on. Components, yes. Components of buttons. we want to use a button for this. Primary, secondary, button tags, outlines. What kind of a button do we want to use? Let's just keep looking. So we definitely want a button large. So let's just do that. Where's the button? Ah, there we go. Class name. Button large. Let's look at it. How is that a large button? I think I'm doing it wrong. It's button LG. Okay, button LG. That is a button LG. It obviously does not work. This doesn't really look very nice, but what the heck? I don't really care right now. Do I? No sir, I do not. Okay, why am I clicking around here? Okay, so this is our article page. Just gonna leave a nice little message here. To profile page if article. If no article. Yes. That makes sense. So I want to try using React hooks for this, to give, to make the button actually do something. So how do we use hooks for that? Not really sure. So React hooks is a kind of a new thing. I've never really actually used it, for anything serious. I mean, I've used the useState hook, but I don't know how you actually do effects or stuff with that. Let's look at hooks. Introduction to hooks. So I've used this. This is very simple to use. No breaking changes. Yes. Gradual adoption. Use effect hook. A new way. Okay, effect hook lets you perform side effects and function calls. Right. So this is what I want to do. Set count. Use effect. Similar to component did mount and component did unmount. So what does set count actually do? I don't understand. Oh wait, this is from useState. This is from, use effect. Similar to component did mount and component did update. But I don't want to do that. Wait, hold on. So I don't need, I can just pass in a function directly to this. Alright, fine. So let's add a function go back, and I want to call going back on click go back. Come on, boy. Okay, so now I need to figure out how to actually router pop state. Router, let's actually search for it in the documentation. Is anything about a router? There are 97 references. Route events. Routing. Custom URL with how do you route? With a link. Basic example. Custom routes. Use router. So we get a router. And okay, we can use the router object. Okay, wait, how do we import that? Use router from next router. Alright. Use router from next router. Const router is going to use router. So that gives me a router. What can I do with routers? replace instead of push. Using component that supports on click. I don't understand. How do you use this thing? If you want to access the router object inside of any function component in your app, you can use the use router hook. Here's how to use it. Use router, handle click, router.push. Okay, is there a router.pop? Router dot back. Okay, that's actually what we want. So we don't need this. We can just pass router dot back. Let's see if it works. Okay, I'm gonna refresh that and back. It's doing something. Hey, it worked. Okay, great. So I'm gonna kill that and go to localhost 3000 and I say article slash what was not that this, copy that, paste that there. Come on, boy, go back. It works like a charm, boys. It works like a charm. Great. So we've come quite far. So okay, so we don't want this in the home page. No. We do not want that in the home page. What do we want in the home page? So I think the article page is more or less ready. Yep, it's more or less ready. So in the home page, what we really want is like maybe a few articles, and then just let the user click through them and actually visit them. Before I do that, I actually want to fix up the error page a bit. Articles, okay, articles XYZ. So this looks pretty bad, so we're gonna make it look nicer. What we're gonna do is so we have this, okay, so we don't actually care for what the status code is right now. We just want to show a very generic message. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get myself a page from what am I gonna get the page from? Components and the page. Nice. Okay, I think I will need the get initial props error. You know what? I don't like this name. I'm gonna call it error page. Yeah, error page. So get initial props, and then we have the context here. Okay, so there was something. Okay, I don't need those two. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need this. Going back up. Fetching data. Was it here? Yes, it was here. We want a path name. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Path. What was it? Path name. Context of path name. Lincoln query. So what we want is page. No, we don't want that. Let's do it our way. Let's const path name is equal to props.path name. Title path name. So let's actually see what that looks like. So we should get an empty page. We have worker that eats. Path name is isn't possible. Okay, you know, I'm gonna have to refresh that. It still didn't give me the path name. What is this? Did I type it right? Get initial probs. Yeah, this is right, right? What could it be? What could be might? Or should it be as path? As path. Refresh that. And come on. Okay, you know what? Let's do this instead. Const path name is equal to ctx dot path name return path name. I mean, it should have worked what I did earlier. So if that's not it, then it's not the syntax. Yep, it's not the syntax. Why? Console.log path name. Maybe it's not a string. It's undefined. Why is it undefined? Well, let's just pass the whole ctx object. The ctx object itself is undefined. Is this wrong? Get initial. Am I? Hold on. I'm gonna copy that. No, it's not wrong. Why with the following properties? Path name. I don't see what's wrong. What is wrong here? Okay, hold on. Let's go back to the very genesis. So these guys have res and error. Okay, I think I'm missing something here. Let's go back to custom error. I think it doesn't, yeah, it probably doesn't get, oh yes, the first argument is, you get an error. Hold on, so where's the custom error handling, right? Our handle both. So error is a special object that we get. Okay, you know what, I think we're supposed to use the request object instead. So let's do this. So let's do request ctx request. So what was this? Let's go back up to this section here. So we know that it is a request, HTTP request object, server only. I'm gonna assume that this is the same as this. So what do we get? We get a query with cookies and it's an incoming message. So we want the path. We just want the path. We want the path. URL. Request URL string contains only the URL that is present in the hash base. Request is this. Then request URL is this. So it includes the query string. I don't want the query string. No. Headers, HTTP, destroy. Why is there no path? Because it's supposed to come. Okay, you know what? I know that this is supposed to exist. So let us log it, console.log ctx. Let's save that. Let's look at this. What is this? How did I open Vi? Beyond. I guess we'll need to refresh this. Come on, boy. Okay, so path name /_error. Why is path name /_error? So here's the context. Error is null. Here's the incoming message. And headers, trailers, URL method. Here's a response. Path name, query, as path, app tree. Okay, so you know what? Forget it. Forget what I was trying to do. Let's just say something went wrong. Come on, yeah, back. Class name display1 XP. Great. P. I think this class name still works. It seems like something went wrong here. Yep, that looks so much nicer. And then we're gonna provide them with two options. Have two buttons here. We're gonna say go back, go to home. What are we gonna do? We're gonna say, so they're both buttons and they're both large. Button, large. And we're gonna make this the primary. And we're just gonna make this the default. Go back or go home. So we already know how we can handle go back. What we need is use router from next router. We don't need that. We don't need this also. In fact, we don't need the props at all. Const routers to use router. On click router dot back. Go home will be on click. Well, this should actually be a link. Let's see if we can get a link to actually look like a button, if it's possible. It should be possible. I'm pretty sure you can make a link look like a button. Where's the content? No, we want components. I always forget. We want components, and we want there are no anchors. Content. Typography. Is there anything about links? I guess not. Utilities. Anything about links? Nope. I'm pretty sure there was a way to make, okay, never mind. Let's just find out how we can use the router to go back to the home screen, the home page. Where is router? custom routes. Router dot before pop state prefetch page code. You may wait for the data viewing page rendering. This feature only works in production. Push performs the push state. Reload, replace. Push URL as URL of the route. Okay, so we gotta find out how to use this. Basic example. So these are the links. Can we make a link look like a button? Okay, you know what? Let's just find out how we can use a link. Routing with link. Import link from next link gonna cut this out, put this here, save that. Let's see what that does. I'm gonna refresh this, and the prop href is marked as required in link, but its value is undefined. Uncaught type error, URL must be present, blah blah blah, href. Let's see that. Refresh. So this should work now. If I just do slash, refresh this, and that doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? href slash about blah blah blah. Oh, here it is. It did work. Okay. Oh, yeah, so that's a weird thing about, what's it called? About Next, about routing in Next. Like, you have to write the logic to, show that we're actually routing, but that's too much trouble. So there was something cool somewhere over here using preloading. Imperatively. They also do client-side page using Next router. Oh, wait, hold on. It says client-side page transition. So if this is for the client side, then what is the routes object? The use router. If you want to access router object inside any function in your app, you can use router hook inside any functional component. Can we use with classes? You can either use that or that. Okay. What's the difference? Prefetching. Right, this is what I want. Prefetch. As they appear in view, if certain pages are rarely visited, you can manually set prefetch defaults imperatively. So we want to prefetch the home page. We obviously want to prefetch the home page. Prefetch. So if we go back here, go home, and a lot faster. Let's go back there, reload. If we look at our network, is it actually prefetching the page? I don't know. But that was a whole lot faster. Okay, so the reason why it's lagging is because we're actually loading articles here. So if we didn't actually load articles, then this would be pretty fast. So it's compiling. Memory property 0 of undefined. Okay, so let's just do that. Refresh, and Great. Rockella eats. So this is a whole lot faster. Going back to XYZ, and takes a while. Go home. Right. So we actually do want to load up articles here because we want to show something on the home page, but obviously right now we can't do that. So we're gonna do something else. We're just gonna add a paragraph here. Let's just write as if we were Matthew. Hi, no, hi, I'm Matthew. This is my blog. I like food, good food, and so let's put a comma over there. So do the people around me. In my blog, I share recipes that I'm fond of, and also speak about restaurants and restaurants that I visit, some days with my friends. Let's just write something like that. And at least we have something. So I'm thinking we can like put a giant jumbotron or something for the latest post, for the latest article, and like 3 smaller card-like things for the, what do you call it, for the for not the latest articles. But this video's been too long. You know what? I'm gonna continue this some other time.